Hi, this is Tim Marshall for the R&B Showcase radio show. Coming up, we have a very special guest. He's a Grammy-nominated recording artist, Marc Nelson, an original founding member of the vocal group Boyz II Men and the Harmony Soul group As Yet. He's the former lead singer, and we'll be joined by Tesa Williams. She's a recording artist, very talented young lady. She is from the original Star Search television show. Together, they got a brand new single called Just the Lonely, Talking Again. We're going to give it the world premiere exclusive debut, and it's produced by the incomparable Mr. Butch Ingram. And that's all coming up, plus our special guest, Marc Nelson and Tesa Williams on the next R&B Showcase radio show.
Boyz II Men. ABC, BBD.
Tim Marshall on the R&B Showcase, 106.5 FM, coming at you from the heart and soul of Philadelphia. We have two very special guests coming up. He attended the Philadelphia High School for the Creative and Performing Arts, is a founding member of Motown Philly's Boyz II Men, was a lead singer with vocal group As Yet, and appeared on motion picture soundtracks as an author, songwriter, Emmy and Grammy-nominated platinum recording artist. She is a singer, songwriter, actress, humanitarian, and was a member of the female singing group Amani, who appeared on the popular TV show Star Search. Together, they have a new single, Just the Lonely, Talking Again. Are you really ready for love? Produced by the incomparable Mr. Butch Ingram. We're going to welcome our very special guest, two dynamic talents, recording artist Marc Nelson and Tesa Williams. Marc, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Tesa, good evening, and how are you doing?
I am well, thank you as well.
Good to hear from you, and thank you both for being part of the R&B Showcase radio show here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So let's go back a little bit. Let's make it ladies first. Let's start with you, Tesa. Tell us how long you've been singing and who inspired you to sing.
I've been singing since I was a little girl. I remember around 9 years old, I started listening to various types of music. That was due to my parents playing everything in the house. But I was really drawn to like really sweet voices, and going back, Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald, Minnie Riperton, Denise Williams. You know, they were big inspirations for me. And I come from a large family, so we were always singing, and I just found got a lot of joy out of singing and music. That's how.
Now, are you also a musician, Tesa?
Yes, I am a musician. I don't promote it a whole lot because I do need to practice. Musicians have to practice no matter how great they are. But yes, I do play the piano. I have a love for that instrument. It's like the mother of all instruments. So I do play. I play enough to write.
That's okay. So you're doing some songwriting. Where do you get your inspiration for songwriting?
Inspiration for songwriting would be actually gospel. Andre Crouch. I mean, it goes back to gospel. And then there's a lot of new artists that are out there, a lot of great writers. I like, I like them all.
Mm-hmm. Where are you originally from, Tesa?
By slipping my mind some of the names, I'm like, I know I didn't think of some other writers, but
there's a lot of.
I just remember being really young, listening to gospel, and Andre Crouch was like a piano player, writer, wrote all his songs and all like that. So.
Now, Tesa, where are you originally from?
I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
I'm originally from South Jersey, yeah, and I still live in South Jersey, actually.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, now. Marc, give us some history on yourself. You were at the Philadelphia High School for the Performing Arts, and tell us a little bit about it, and what was that experience like for you attending that high school?
An amazing experience. I'd have to say it really shaped and molded who I am today in terms of a creative entity, a creative spirit. Because before I went into the school, I was extremely shy. There was this raging, excitable artist on the inside of me, but when I entered the high school, it was the beautiful energy that flowed through the halls, like the TV and movie fame, that really brought out of me, the love and the creation that I had already inside. So for those 4 years, amazing, because I loved seeing that, you know, we were like, I guess you'd say, kids from the street going to this beautiful building of creativeness and singing, you know, the Messiah, and then off out of class and to recess, we turned on the radio and harmonized everything that New Edition was doing. So it was incredible, very, very incredible.
Now, are you originally from Philadelphia?
Born and raised. Absolutely.
So who else were some of your early artists that inspired you to sing?
So, you know, it's interesting you should ask that question, because the way I normally phrase it is, it's not really so much the artist, it was the songs from various artists. So I didn't really pick up on any particular person. I just love the many songs. But, you know, if I can think back to the beginning, it would be Reunited and it feels so good. Peaches and Herb.
All right, great song.
And I found myself just gravitating to harmonies and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, I was in a house full of music because my mother, Phyllis Nelson, became a global success in the entertainment business. But as much as I want to credit her, I was just a typical kid. So even though the music was there, I guess it was just innate in me. But I didn't say, hey, oh, you know, I became a singer because of my mom. Because she just kept me so far from it. I was just a kid. So, you know, I love listening to Prince. I love Michael Jackson, the Off the Wall record. I love, she played Luther Vandross, but then my dad played, like, Chicago and Phil Collins and Sting and Journey. So I was just hearing song after song, different sounds, just different vocals. It was an amazing development over time. But it was New Edition that really made me say, oh, you know what? I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Well, it sounded like you had a well-rounded musical, you know, inspiration there. And also want to add your mother, Phyllis Nelson. One of my favorite club jams growing up was "I Like You." That was big, banging in the clubs. That was a huge record. Everybody danced to that record.
Yes, it was. It was. I was very proud of her. Again, still being a kid and not really engaging too much into her career. I was very proud to see her make that happen, because clearly I was right there watching her struggle to become successful. So it was awesome.
Now, Tesa and Marc, you were both in vocal groups. Tesa, you were part of the vocal group Amani. Tell us about your experiences with that group.
I had a great experience being in that group. It was 5 female singers. We all came together under the direction of Stacey Harkham. He's also in Philadelphia, and they were all from Philly. I was the only one from New Jersey, and I got a phone call one day, and they were looking for a singer, so I came and auditioned, and I joined the group. I just remember being in Southwest Philly, always rehearsing and learning and preparing, you know, staying ready so that we didn't have to get ready. And things started to happen as far as a lot of work around the city, and we had the opportunity to audition for that competition show, which was Star Search at the time. So that put us in a position where we had national exposure, and it was pretty exhilarating, you know, to go there and do that and win, and it just set us off to years of travel and work and quite a number of other opportunities that came about through that experience. But it was like a university. I learned so much being around that. It was great. It was great.
Star Search was a great series. As a matter of fact, I guess a lot of the younger people may not remember, that was before they had American Idol. Star Search was a huge show, you know?
You're right about that. Yeah. It actually set the stage for a lot of the competitions, like American Idol and the Boyz. You know, set the stage for a lot now. I'm proud to be a part of it. Ed McMahon was, like, interesting. Of course, I didn't know who he was at the time, but then it was like I learned who he was. And it was interesting. A lot of interesting judges and, you know, a lot of fun.
Now, who are some of the recording artists you worked with over the years? We have quite a resume here of people that you worked with. Tell us about it.
it's been thrilling working with a lot of the legends like Gerald Levert.
Okay.
You know, I mean, during my years of being with Amani, I was able to meet a lot of people and be in the studio and meeting, like I said, legends. Teddy Pendergrass, Tony Stigler,
Okay.
Dexter Wansell.
Yes.
I've worked with all of them. And I had the opportunity to be on his album G-Spot. So I was featured on a song called with Mystical. Mystical was on there too at the time, and you know, that was pretty cool.
And didn't you have Dexter Wansell on one of your shows on your podcast?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
He was a great interview. He graced us with that interview, and he gave a lot of history going back to the days of the Uptown Theater, and just listening to him was you know, just very inspiring. And he featured me on a couple songs that will be, you know, his upcoming album. So I'm on a couple of songs. Songs on his album that'll be coming out.
I'm glad to hear that. It's one of my favorite recordings. I'm in Love was a great song he had out some years ago, and then all the things he did at Philly International for all those artists over the years. I mean, just a part ingrained in Philadelphia history, music wise. You know.
Absolutely, he hasn't missed a beat. And then of course his son Pop Wanzel, who does a lot of producing and all. He's out there. You know, he didn't fall far from the tree on that. So. Yeah, I mean, I just feel honored just to be in the presence of people like that, you know. So, great blessing.
Now, Marc, how did you come to form Boyz II Men?
Okay, so in Creative Performing Arts High School, I met my best friend, Nate Mars. And first 3 years, you know, we stayed creative, just kind of putting different projects together. In my 12th grade year, we had Wanye. I think he was a freshman, and God, could he sing? Oh, my God. Oh, my Jesus, right? And then we had Sean Stockman, who I think was 2 years under. So it was like, we say, freshman, sophomore, and three seniors. And me and Nate, you know, was like, let's just do this because we loved New Edition so much. We mimicked them a lot. And they came out with Can You Stand the Rain? And that was really kind of like the thing that sparked me and Nate deciding, hey, let's put this thing together. So we, after school, in between lunch and recess, we would harmonize Can You Stand the Rain? We came up, we developed what you now know as the a cappella version of Can You Stand the Rain that Boyz II Men have released on their CD. And that's the development of the group.
Well, why don't we take a listen to that track? We've got Boyz II Men founding member Marc Nelson together with recording artist Tesa Williams, our special guest on the R&B Showcase. Can You Stand the Rain? Performing an a cappella rendition of a New Edition classic. In addition to Wanye, Nate, Mike, and Sean, we've got a gentleman on the line right now, Mr. Marc Nelson, who helped Boyz II Men shape their sound back at the Philadelphia High School for the Creative and Performing Arts. He's the co-founder and an original member of the group. And in addition to Mr. Marc Nelson, we've also got a special guest, recording artist Miss Tesa Williams, right here from the tri-state area. And talking to Mr. Marc Nelson, did the group actually take its name from the New Edition song, Boyz II Men?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Because we love that CD, we love that song so much. We would always have these conference calls on the phone discussing, you know, the next move, what we were going to do. And in Philly, we were quite popular for performing in the local competitions and stuff like that. And, you know, we needed a name. And to this day, we can't remember who said, hey, let's call ourselves Boyz II Men. One of us did on that conference call, but to this day, I can't remember who that was.
Well, it was a great group. It's still a great group, and you were part of that group, and then you became a solo artist. Tell us what happened with the group.
Okay, so myth and legend has it that I left the group before they became successful. As a disclaimer, I'll give you some of it, but
okay.
I'm in the middle of developing a book called As a Boy, Yet a Man, which plays on both the names Boyz II Men. And it'll give you in depth a description of just like sort of like my memoir of my journey of being in the music industry. But what happened was I got the group backstage discovered by Michael Bivins, And at that time, we were signed to a local management. Two gentlemen named Bernard, which we call him Bird, and another gentleman named Nerje managed us. And I was signed to the management company at 18 years old. So I was an adult when I signed. The others were 17 and under. And at the time, I thought that the management wouldn't let me go. And in them not letting me go, a new deal was renegotiated to have me out of the group where Michael Bivins could take the other four. So that's what I originally thought for many, many years, until I discovered something different, which is what you're going to have to read in the book.
Okay.
But I found the truth. And, a lot of people want to know, so I'll tell you now, it was horrible, devastating. I was devastated, damn near suicidal. Very resentful, very angry, but cry like a baby every day. And then one day I just said, you know what? I can sit here and cry, or I can do something about it, because this is not going away. Now, when this took place, I was trying to get us a deal with a production company out of New York called Hush Production.
Okay.
With a gentleman named Bo and Charles Huggins. And they had Freddie Jackson, they had Melba Moore, and they had Najee and a whole bunch of other people. And I went to New York and played Boyz II Men, our tape, for them, and they turned it down.
Wow.
Yeah. And so when I was X'd out of, my Boyz II Men group, I just had no other choice but to take the deal that was in front of me, and I became a solo artist for Capitol Records by way of Hush Production. And I made the most of it. Again, it was a very trying time for me. It was terrible because, who walks away from a group that you put together and only to see them become like the biggest group ever, in the history of groups, and be okay with that. I was not okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was devastating. But today I enjoy expressing it, A, because it constantly heals me when I talk about it. And then number two, it puts the truth out there, because a lot of people just assume that I walked away from this group, and I didn't walk away from the group.
So did the opportunity come in years later for you to reunite with Boyz II Men at any point?
Oh, yeah. I've been with Boyz II Men for like the last 8 years.
Okay.
We got a residency at the Mirage Hotel Casino in Las Vegas. And I had been performing with them ever since until COVID hit. And at that time, God is so good, because, He doesn't give you more than you can bear.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I could bear a lot. And you know what? And even as I share the tragedy with you, I'm not even going to sit here and act like I had a horrible career, because I had an amazing career. And their success has always been my success. Everything that they've achieved, it would not have happened without me, and vice versa.
So are you making appearances with the group, or are they back as a 4-man lineup now?
Well, no. So it's still the three of them, but I feature in a residency with them in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And from time to time, I make television appearances with them, like Good Morning America. We did Howard Stern. So it's just basically, I'm going to call to fill that fourth man, that fourth note, without necessarily being in the group. And that was by, my choice, because I still do Mark Nelson. You know what I'm saying? If ever it makes sense to do, I might do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just saying to you that, I'm grateful for my journey. I'm grateful for my career. I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, wonderful things. But that's just to answer your question as to what happened with me and Boyz II Men.
All right, so now you were with this harmony group, Boyz II Men. Then you go solo, and then you form another group, As Yet. Tell us about As Yet.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a cool story. And again, I'm always giving praise to God, because I always like to make sure that I show the newcomers and even my peers and veterans that, it's not us, man, it's God. When I did the solo record, I Want You, by the way, which is a rendition of the Marvin Gaye song, I Want You, I had to go and perform back at the same venue I got Boyz II Men discovered.
Wow.
At the convention center called the Powerhouse in Philly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so once I finished performing, I was headed back home, still living in Philly at the time. And as I walked out the venue, there was these group of guys who said, "Hey, man, listen, we love what you do. We love what you do with Boyz II Men. Can you help us with our harmonies?" I said, "Sure, no problem." So I went to their home. I sat with them and, you know, helped them arrange their harmonies and get better at it. And then I left and I moved to California. And I would say that was in 91. 4 years later, what was it, 94, 95, I'm in the middle of working with a producer named John Robinson, who was signed to Babyface's publishing company. So I had met Babyface a couple of times, and then I wrote a song with Babyface and John. And I get a call from Babyface, and he says, "Hey, I just signed this group that says they know you. I just signed to LaFace Records." I said, "Well, who is they?" He said, "Well, you have to come down." So I came down to the studio. Lo and behold, it's the same guy that I helped 4 years ago. And they called themselves As Yet Untitled. And Babyface made me the lead singer. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, this guy. So it was a seed that was planted that I had no idea that I would eat from, you know, the fruits of that that planted seed, you know. So it was a total blessing to not realize that I'd be the lead singer of As Yet. So that's how that was formed.
Sounds like harmony is the key, huh?
It sure is.
Yes.
It sure is.
No question about it.
It's like that was the catalyst to spark, you know, this amazing journey of, you know, being in the music industry. And then also it began the healing from not being my original guys, Boyz II Men.
From the production of Babyface, it's Last Night, a top 10 chart hit on the Hot 100, number 1 on the R&B charts, and also an international number 1 chart hit. The year was 1995, and the harmonies are legendary. And we're joined today by special guest Miss Tesa Williams, recording artist and from the group As Yet, and a founding member of Boyz II Men is Mr. Marc Nelson. Now, the track we just listened to, Last Night, was your debut single, and you also, with the group As Yet, had another outstanding piece of vocal harmony known as Hard to Say I'm Sorry. Now, they were your first 2 releases, right?
Exactly. Those were our first 2 singles. Hard to Say I'm Sorry took us to the Grammys. Funny enough, we were nominated against Boyz II Men.
Isn't that something? That was a great record.
Won that, though. That was Blackstreet. Yeah, say again?
Blackstreet won that year, you said?
Yeah, they won that nomination. And yeah, the record, Hard to Say, was a huge record.
It was a huge record. It was a great harmony. You guys, the video, you're on there with that Temptation style microphone on there.
Yeah, exactly.
What a great tribute to the Temps on that with that microphone.
Thank you.
No question. So, what was it like working with Beyonce? You were on the Best Man soundtrack project, Marc. What was it like working with her?
It was great. Beyonce's beautiful spirit. She's all about the creativity. At the time, she had not become Queen Bee. She was just coming off of Destiny's Child, about to work on a solo project. It was a beautiful experience working with her in the studio and figuring out, you know, how we were going to do that record. And it's so funny. Working with Tesa, it gives me the exact same energy in terms of work on someone so profound in their vocal quality and their love and passion for what they do. You know, Beyonce is top-notch professional, but she likes to have fun with it.
And you also worked with Babyface in your career as well, right?
Oh, my God. Listen, man, yes. Listen, I don't know if you have enough time in your interview for that one, but I aspired to work with Babyface when I was in 10th grade when he came out with his first single called I Love You, Babe. And I knew in my heart one day I would work with him. So then to get to be in the studio with him, like every single day, be on his label, LaFace Records, be in the studio and watch how he does what he does, and then protege under him to teach me how to write a song. I mean, yo, I'm ready to go. I'm good. Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, and he made sure, like Tesa was saying, I worked with everyone. Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Kenny G, Tony Braxton, Stevie Wonder, Eric Clapton. I could go on and on and on. I was in the studio with a lot of people either singing on their records or writing for them. It was incredible.
No question about it. And you also, didn't you do a residency, Magic Music Nights with Marc Nelson?
Yeah. So while I was in Vegas with Boyz II Men, you know, we weren't performing every weekend, but we had at least 100 shows a year, so it was pretty spread out.
Wow.
And I got tired of flying back. Huh?
That's pretty good though. 100 shows a year is great.
Oh yeah,
you get that.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Total blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Total blessing. So I got tired of flying back and forth from New York, which is where I live, to Vegas every time we performed. So I just rented an apartment and I stayed in Vegas, and I began to build my relationships in Vegas. And I wanted to do something on the side for the locals who are incredible talents in Vegas as well. So I created this sort of like open mic called Magic Music Nights with Marc Nelson. I mean, in my bio, that's just one of a few things that I did. But that was definitely one of them. So what I would do is I would just give the locals an opportunity to perform. And then don't get me wrong, you know, the world comes to Vegas. So I promoted it globally. So when people came to town to see me perform with Boyz II Men, they would, after that show, come to my show, and they would get on stage and sing with me.
Now, did you have different artists? I saw you had Teron Brooks, who played Eddie Kendricks in the Temptations miniseries with you. So you do have different artists perform that whoever's in town perform as part of that music night?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tony Grant, I had Keith Robinson from Dreamgirls. I had T-Lo from Next, and then that sparked another venture that I did called Men of Vocals, where I would have I had Stokely Williams from Mint Condition headline. So I mean, like, you know, all these peers of mine, you know, I just gave them a call and just said, hey, I'm doing this thing in Vegas, and then they were gracious enough to give me their time.
Now, were some of those artists part of your super group that you performed after As Yet? Didn't you have a super group?
Yeah, you called Blaze.
Yes.
Yeah, so no, what happened with that was I took a hiatus from the industry. I was kind of tired of it for a little bit. And then Tony Grant called me up and said, hey, man, let's put this super group together where we would have the lead singers from As Yet, Blackstreet, and Silk. I said, man, that is incredible. So I said, let me call you back. I called Sony ATV Music Publishing. I struck a development deal with them, and they gave me a budget to work with some of the top producers at that time, from like the Track Masters to Stargate. And then I called up the lead singers. I got Gary Jenkins from Silk. And then I was trying to get Mark Middleton and Eric Williams from Blackstreet. They were originally on board, but then I think they decided to go with Teddy Riley. Long story short, I put together singers from these groups, created this thing called Blaze, which would be BL for Blackstreet, AY for As Yet, S for Silk, and I ended it with an E. And we went into the studio with these various producers to develop a CD. And we were just about to sign to J Records, which was owned by Clive Davis. And just like I've seen in the industry, one of the members of the group just decided he wanted a little bit more than the next person. And he wanted to write more songs. And just stuff that happens in the industry, it took a tank. And I felt bad about that because it was so cool to do, you know, but it is what it is.
You have a current project together, you and Tesa. Tell us about this current project that you're working on with Butch Ingram.
I'm going to let Tesa.
It's a beautiful song. Well, it all started for me. I met Butch this summer. I like to respect him and call him Mr. Ingram sometimes, too.
Okay.
But he reached out to me because there were like several people that knew me or whatever, and I guess he was looking for female singers to do different things for his project. So he called me, and I was definitely willing to, to meet up with him. So we had a meeting at his studio, and we listened to like a number of songs because he was looking to do like a cover project. He has a really good philosophy on keeping, just Black music alive, and a lot of these hits that are already out there, when a new artist comes along and puts a nice flavor to it, why not? A lot of artists have made their careers out of doing that. So I was definitely interested in doing the project, but during this pandemic, 2020, there were a lot of different things that were going on, and time kind of went by But the idea of doing the songs was still, you know, in the making. So I think it was right around just December. He called me, and well, we had agreed to do 2 of the songs because I think I listened to maybe about 7 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And when he put on the Whitney Houston "Just a Lonely Talking,"
Mm-hmm.
that touched my soul. I know you asked me some questions earlier about, you know, the singers that really inspired me going back, but Whitney Houston, that voice right there, and just her whole persona just really inspired me. So when Butch actually put that song, and I was like, oh my goodness. And he said, you know, I want to do this as a duet. We just need a male singer. And he mentioned, hey, if you know of anyone that you'd like to sing the song with, you know, just let me know or whatever. Meantime, he was already looking for a singer. And he came across a couple, but he called me right before Christmas. And he said, Tesa, I have a singer. And I said, oh, that's cool. And then when he said the name Mark Nelson, I was like, Jesus, stop. Oh, my God. So that was very, very exciting to my ears. And I was just you know, really looking forward to working with him.
And she killed it, man. Yeah, she laid that vocal.
Oh man, she did. Sure.
And so, Butch, just to kind of go back in a little bit of history as well. Fascinatingly enough, Butch knew me before I was born.
How about that? All right now.
he saw me running around in my mother's belly. You know, when I was conceived. And so I've known him 50 years. Yes, I am turning 50 next week.
Happy birthday.
And, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Right.
And you look 20.
Thank you. Yeah, so I've known Butch a long time. And he called me up and he said, hey, you know, I have this amazing recording artist that I'm working with, and I want you to do some duets with her. And I said, you got it, anything for you. It's done. You say it, it's done. I already know it's going to be fire. So what? And he sent it to me, and I heard her voice. I said, she's fire. Fire means incredible.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely fire now. It's a great track.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, she's killing it. And then, as I said, I mean, and I'm telling the truth when I say this. I don't blow smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a few duets with people, Charlie Wilson and definitely Beyonce. These are 2 main ones, and she's right there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question in terms of sound and professionalism, and I'm honored to work with her. This record, I love the song. I do remember the song. I couldn't hear it originally as a duet, but with Butch's production and producing it, yeah, it's working. You know, so I'm just hoping that you know, the new generation of people who listen to music can appreciate it, and I know that our peers are gonna really embrace it. And we want to thank you too, man, for even taking it and playing it for us.
Absolutely, it's a classic song,
Yeah.
and Butch definitely put his signature on it. So it was an honor. I was inspired listening to the music, all the instrumentation, and Marc came in there. Ooh, he just blew it out of the water, not just with his vocals, just with his professionalism, his on-the-spot creation of, you know, harmonies and arrangements.
Thank you.
Ah, man, there's somebody to absorb from and learn from, and it was just a beautiful experience. It really was. And Mr. Butch Ingram, you know, just patience and ear while he's sitting behind the booth. In front of the booth or behind the booth?
Behind the booth.
In the producer's chair with the engineer, you know, just doing his thing. And he made me feel right at home when I walked into the studio. He was like, do your thing. Yeah. And, man, I'm just really happy that I've had the opportunity to work with him.
Well, let's take a listen to it, making its R&B Showcase debut, the new single, under the production of Mr. Butch Ingram. It's Just the Lonely Talking Again. New music from Tesa Williams featuring Marc Nelson, our special guest on the R&B Showcase. You're really ready for love, or is it just the lonely talking again? That's brand new music from our special guest, Tesa Williams, featuring Mr. Marc Nelson, founding member of Boyz II Men, a solo artist, and from the vocal harmony group As Yet, our special guest tonight on the R&B Showcase. So Tesa and Marc, as Frankie Beverly and Mays would say, before I let you go, when is your book coming out, Marc?
So I'm targeting it for fall. So I'm thinking somewhere around September. And as I said, it's called As a Boy, Yet a Man. So.
Well, we're looking forward to the book. We're looking forward to your music, and we're looking forward to this new single coming out. Where can folks get in touch with you to get your music, both Marc and Tesa? Where can they get in touch with you?
Well, as far as me, they can go to my website, TesaWilliamsMusic.com. I'm on social media platforms like, Instagram and Facebook. So check it out.
Yeah, and I'm anything Marc Nelson, like the iPhone, the letter I, Marc Nelson. And I know most people know this, but I spell my name with a C. So it's IMARC Nelson, and it's all social media platforms down to my website. Well,
I appreciate you both taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're still in the studio and working real hard there and putting music together and got new projects coming out. I appreciate you both, Marc and Tesa, being part of the R&B Showcase radio show, sharing the music with us and your history. And we definitely appreciate you and wish you both much success, continued success in your careers.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.